3 children, 1 forest, and mysteries so twisted they've baffled the world for over a century. How does a toddler end up on a cliff no adult could climb? Why did a little girl say the sun never set, and voices told her to stay quiet? Stick around, because by the end, you'll question what you thought you knew about the woods. In the chilling depths of Colorado's Comanche wilderness, Alan Atadero's world was shattered on a fall day in 1999. His 3-year-old son, Jared Atadero, vanished without warning while on a hike not far from the Poudre River Resort, which Alan co-owned. Jared, known for his cheerful spirit and dislike for shoes, had joined a Christian singles group, 11 adults and his older sister Jocelyn, on what was supposed to be a harmless outing to a nearby fish hatchery. But instead of heading there, the group changed plans and ventured into the Big South Trail, a rugged, unforgiving 11-mile path winding through wilderness terrain that challenged even experienced hikers. Jared, a toddler barely able to keep pace, somehow managed to break ahead of the group and cross paths with 2 fishermen. The men recalled the boy asking about bears, skipping off down the trail as if he had not a care in the world. They assumed he belonged to the larger hiking group, unaware they would be the last people to ever see Jared alive. When the group realized Jared was missing, panic rippled through the ranks. Yelling echoed across the trees, desperate and shrill. One member of the group heard a childlike scream off the trail, described as gleeful, as though Jared was playing tag or hide and seek. But the sound faded before anyone could locate its source. As hours passed and daylight waned, a frantic Alan was informed. He tore down the road, screaming, "You lost my baby!" When he reached the Big South Trail, he was met not with his child, but with silence and steep terrain too treacherous to search alone. Authorities soon arrived and launched a full-scale rescue effort, buoyed by confidence. Jared had to be somewhere nearby, they reasoned. The fishermen had seen him. A scream had been heard. They had clues. They had hope. Yet 24 hours passed with no sign. Then a week. The search turned into chaos as news of the disappearance drew national attention. Volunteers flooded the area, complicating search operations. A helicopter dispatched to assist even crashed, though miraculously no lives were lost. When the search was called off, authorities leaned into a grim theory. Jared had likely fallen prey to a mountain lion. The case went cold. Alan was left with a void no parent should endure. But the story didn't end there. For years later, 2 hikers exploring an off-trail, steep outcropping near the area of Jared's disappearance, stumbled upon something that made their blood run cold. Atop a nearly 550-foot climb, up rugged rock, far beyond the capacity of a toddler, lay a pair of small white sneakers. They were startlingly clean, almost new. Nearby were Jared's pants, turned completely inside out, and a tattered sweatshirt. Not far from the clothing was one of Jared's teeth and a small piece of bone. Everything about the discovery defied logic. The climb was perilous. The shoes had been untied when Jared left. His young feet couldn't have managed such terrain without slipping free of the shoes, yet they were there, neatly placed. His clothing bore the wear of time, but the shoes, how had they endured 4 years of wilderness weather almost untouched? The story of Jared Atadero morphed from a tragic disappearance into something much darker, much stranger. How had he gotten up there? Who or what had taken him? There was no answer, only questions that burrowed deeper into the heart of a father still searching for peace. Another tale, buried deeper in time but no less unsettling, took place in July 1938, when the sprawling Beilhartz family ventured into the Rocky Mountains for a camping trip. Among their 10 children was 4-year-old Alfred Beilhartz, a bright and adventurous child. On a family hike to a popular fishing spot, Alfred was positioned near the back of the line when he disappeared without a sound. One moment he was there, the next gone. A frantic search by family members yielded nothing. When law enforcement arrived, they assumed Alfred must have fallen into the nearby river. Dams were constructed. The river was raked. No trace was found. Shifting strategies, officials brought in bloodhounds from a nearby prison to track Alfred's scent. What happened next defied every expectation. The dogs did not go toward the river. Instead, they veered upward, scaling a near-vertical 500-foot incline, stopping at a small mountain plateau and laying down, signaling they had reached the source of the scent. It seemed implausible. Alfred was 4. That climb would be nearly impossible for an adult, let alone a child. Disbelieving the dogs, authorities tried again with a fresh group of bloodhounds. Once more, the trail led straight up to the same plateau. Still, Alfred was not there. He had simply vanished. Then, just one day after Alfred had gone missing, a report came in from a hiker 6 miles away. The man had taken a break and looked up at a cliffside. There, standing on a ledge 500 feet above him, was a small boy. The child let out a sharp, shrill scream before something, unseen, pulled him back into the trees. The hiker watched in horror, reporting the sighting immediately. But like everything else in the search, this too led nowhere. Authorities dismissed it. How could a child move 6 miles over such rough terrain in less than 24 hours, ascending another vertical climb? A team was dispatched to the area. Nothing was found. Not a footprint. Not a thread of clothing. Alfred Beilhartz was never seen again. The story remained a gaping wound in his family's history, a whispered legend among searchers, hikers, and those who believe that sometimes the forest takes what it wants. Further back still, in the dense woods of northern Maine, 6-year-old Lillian Carney went missing in August of 1897. She had been out berry picking with her parents near the Canadian border, in a region thick with towering trees and underbrush so heavy it muffled sound. One moment Lillian was there, the next she was gone. Her parents, initially believing she had wandered just a few feet away, soon descended into dread as an hour passed with no sign. Their calls went unanswered. Their panic spread. Searchers, hundreds of them, came to scour the forest. Experienced woodsmen, trappers, and farmers swept through the region, shouting Lillian's name into the silence. The girl was nowhere to be found. No footprints, no broken branches. It was as if the forest had simply absorbed her. Night fell. The Carneys refused to leave. Friends and relatives stayed out in the woods with lanterns, calling her name into the wind. Days passed. No one believed she could survive. And then, like a scene from a dream or a nightmare, Lillian emerged from behind a tree 2 to 3 miles from where she'd disappeared. Calm, quiet, and scathed, she asked for her mother. She was found. The adults around her were stunned. How had she survived? Why did she not respond to the countless calls? When questioned, Lillian described her experience in ways that only deepened the mystery. She claimed that while in the woods, the sun shined all the time, yet search logs and weather records showed that it had been overcast, dreary, even rainy during her disappearance. Moreover, the forest where she'd gone missing was so thick that even sunlight on a clear day barely touched the ground. Her comment wasn't just unusual, it was impossible. She also described hearing voices around her, voices of people calling. But she didn't respond. Not because she couldn't, but because she was warned not to. She said she had to be quiet, or the tramps would get upset. Who or what were these tramps? No one had an answer. There were no camps nearby, no travelers. Her words didn't match the known reality of her surroundings. Each of these children, Jared Adadero, Alfred Beilhartz, and Lillian Carney, were found or never found in places that defied logic. Jared's body was discovered hundreds of feet above a treacherous trail, his shoes pristine as if untouched by time. Alfred sent lead dogs to a mountain ledge, and a stranger swore he saw him vanish from another rocky perch miles away. Lillian walked calmly out of the forest after 2 days, describing light where there was none, and warning of unseen watchers who didn't want her to speak. These are not ordinary missing persons cases. These are ruptures in the expected patterns of the world, puzzles with missing pieces that no amount of searching can restore. And when placed beside hundreds of similar cases investigated by David Paulides under the Missing 411 umbrella, these stories form a haunting pattern. Children disappearing in the blink of an eye, reappearing or not in places no child could reach. Bizarre weather patterns, contradictory witness accounts, inexplicable behavior, and often, disturbing silence from the natural world as if the earth itself is colluding in the mystery. The human mind seeks explanation, a rational thread to pull and unravel the knot. But what do you do when there's no thread to find? No footprints to follow? When trained dogs and seasoned rangers stand speechless at what lies before them? What do you say when a toddler is found atop a cliff? Or when a child talks of voices and unseen men that kept her from crying out? You begin to wonder if the forest hides more than just trees, if there are folds in the fabric of reality. Moments where the rules break down and something ancient, unknowable, and wholly unkind reaches through. These aren't just cautionary tales. These are recorded events, documented searches, eyewitness reports, official records. They are the truths we don't like to face, because to accept them means admitting that sometimes people vanish and nothing we do can stop it. Jared Adadero's story ends with a father still haunted, still asking how. Alfred Beilhart's family was left only with silence and memories of a boy last seen smiling on a trail. Lillian Carney's words echo like a warning from another world. The sun always shines, she said, and the tramps don't want her to speak. In the end, we are left with stories that refuse to resolve themselves. Places children should never be, voices no one can place, evidence that doesn't weather, and truths that don't fade. In these woods, in these stories, the impossible becomes real. And that, perhaps, is the most terrifying thing of all. What do you think happened in those forests? Could it be something beyond our understanding or just coincidences wrapped in fear? Do you believe in hidden forces? Or is there a logical answer buried somewhere we haven't looked yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your theories. And if you're drawn to true mysteries that refuse to stay silent, subscribe now. The next story might just change the way you see the world around you.